Coach Adam Atkinson, how you doing today, man?
Good, man. Good to be here.
Good to have you. This is another episode of Talk That Talk. I am Fran, the franchise Thomas, with Coach.
Adam Atkinson.
Um,
Looks like you're dealing the chips today, by the way. So I think you're asking all the questions.
I am. I'm asking all the questions. I'm the dealer. This color's pretty significant.
Green
Yeah,
for sure.
green. We'll slide you one since that's the team colors.
Deal.
So, hey guys, we do not have a script. We never do. We're just kind of shooting from the hip. We do. I do want to talk to you about last weekend. Last weekend we had a major show here in Las Vegas. You want to kind of talk us through how that went, what we experienced, and just how you felt and the results as well.
Yeah. So we've been in Vegas since August, and this was our not only our biggest show. I remember moving to Vegas and just kind of said this is one of the first big shows in Las Vegas. It kind of makes sense for a lot of people to open the season on.
Mm.
If you guys don't know, it's the Cutler Desert Classic. It tends to be the biggest show in Las Vegas, from what I understand. So we had 9 athletes compete. We had 3 men, and then we had the rest as women
Mm-hmm.
in all bikini from that point on. But we had classic bodybuilding and 2 men's physique. So great placings this weekend. I mean, it was definitely a really amazing show.
Mm.
Sarah Tancato took the overall, which was awesome. So
Congratulations, Sarah.
congrats, Sarah.
Our first overall in Las Vegas.
Our first overall in Las Vegas, and we were really close a lot of the other times with Jesse and some other people. We
Mm.
were really, really right there. Marcy came really
That's
close.
right. Yeah.
So
That was was that a Samson show
Samson, yeah, and wellness.
in
So and Roddy was
2022?
close in
Yeah.
men's physique
Right.
and then close in classic as
Mm.
well. So because the overall winner beat him at the Samson's
Right.
show. So lots of great things. One thing that was interesting about the Jay Cutler, something happened to me that's never happened before.
Okay.
And so Sarah had actually, this was her first show ever. She actually lost to somebody in the novice class. And
So she did she do true novice as well, or just novice and open?
you know what? It was the novice overall that she had lost.
Okay.
And that girl was in her overall. So, you hear a lot of things in physique sport, and the narrative backstage was everything's already judged
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of the competitors, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, it's definitely not that way. I mean, most of the prejudging is judged. Your first through, 10th are already taken care of, but
Right.
the overalls haven't been judged. So
Mm.
we got to stay on point. A lot of people were telling Sarah that,
Mm-hmm.
luckily she already knew she had a plan with me. And I decided to take some risk with her physique, specifically some manipulation with sodium, and
Okay.
I'll let people figure out what way we went with that. I wanted to bring her a little bit fuller because we had nothing to lose at that point. The
Mm-hmm.
girl had already beat her, and we made some posing adjustments. And the overalls are rejudged. She beat that girl at finals. So I was just ecstatic when I heard her name
Wow.
because, it takes something to swing it in bikini where it's that close.
Right.
And I think the other girl maybe didn't pose as well in finals as
Okay.
she did in prejudging. She kind of pushed back on her glutes hard in prejudging. I think she did even more at finals, which actually flattened her glutes. And
Mm-hmm.
what we did for Sarah made her glutes fuller.
Fuller.
So that was super exciting. I mean, I've been coaching since 2002. I've not seen many things I haven't seen before,
Mm.
so that was kind of cool.
That's dope. So, let's talk about the rest of the show. What do you think of the show? How it was run, the promotion of the show, the caliber of athletes at the show, caliber of athletes that you brought to the show, and then the
Yeah.
various categories that you had people compete in.
Yeah, definitely a great show, great quality. when you're in Las Vegas, you're in the heat of some really good coaching
Mhm.
out here.
Yes.
It's very competitive,
Yes.
and it was very validating to be able to stand well against, kudos to the other coaches that are out here that are
Mhm.
good coaches as
Mhm.
well. So that's awesome. Also, my community's growing. I've been here since August. Elevation Fitness is freaking amazing. James and Lisa,
Shout out to Elevation Fitness, James, Lisa,
Pete,
Peter,
yeah,
Angel, all of you guys,
you guys have
phenomenal.
given us a home
Yeah.
and a community that's really in in sync with what we stand for and
Yes,
what
sir.
we do. Um, you guys brought a Midwest vibe to not Midwest place, and it's a really nice change of place and
Mm,
pace. And I think that a lot of the gyms have a lot to offer here, but
absolutely.
Elevation, and we like all of them. But
Mm.
that's just kind of what did the deal for us. We really
You know,
like them.
the cool thing about it is they also they were sponsors at the show, like they sponsor every show. They had a lot of athletes at the show that placed really well, but at least 100 backers and supporters between their coaches, the owners, management, and then clients as well as members that showed up to support the community there. So shout out again to the Elevation Nation.
Hmm.
That is our home gym where we train at. We do kind of maneuver around to a lot of different gyms, especially when we have athletes and clients and friends in town. But that is our home gym where you train out of.
Yeah.
Um, Talk a little bit more about the various categories of athletes that you have for the show,
Yeah, so
actually.
we had classic physique with Roddy, and then we had men's physique with Giancarlo and
Mm-hmm.
Patrick, who's masters.
Mm-hmm.
This was kind of a warm up for Patrick. We
Okay.
had some more room in the tank, but he wanted to be there to support his wife, and he
Awesome.
knew like I haven't been on stage in a while. This is going to be an intro.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are going to have opinions for what that is. That's what works for us. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like we don't have to explain it, and
Absolutely. Yeah.
anyone from the outside can say whatever, but he ended up placing in the top 5, so
Mm-hmm.
that's awesome,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to be even better for the next show.
Also, so with Patrick, I used to be his posing coach,
Yes,
and
yes.
he needed that stage time.
He did. He
He
did need
needed,
that.
yeah, and he actually wound up getting a posing coach that's local to him in San Diego, who actually comes to his house, so they pose at his house.
That's cool.
He's made some major improvements in posing
And
and
just physique in general
yeah,
too.
and stage presence, his
Yeah.
confidence, his presentation. So that's great.
It really takes a mature athlete to do what Patrick did
Absolutely, yeah.
and just, kind of stand up for your team, stand up for your wife, and
Mm-hmm.
just stand up for yourself too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can do this without explaining to everyone why I'm doing it because you
Mm-hmm.
don't get a chance to say, this is just my warm up. And I thought he looked great.
Right.
I think that we did bring a PR, so that makes it a little bit
Okay.
easier.
Mm-hmm.
So, but at the end of the day, like I was proud of him for that. And then obviously we had Roddy in
Yes.
classic physique. And
Rod the bod, Roddy the body, hot rod, all that stuff. So
it's cool.
great
This
guy.
has been one of my biggest men's shows in a
Okay.
while. So we're getting the local males support well.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just been wonderful to work with. He had a lot of stuff going on this week where I think peak week was just another thing that he was going through.
Yeah.
He had a lot of other things that were more important than that. And
Mm-hmm.
he still pulled together and made it happen.
Yeah.
It was our second show. I think that we did things better than the first, and
Mm-hmm.
that's all that mattered. And he had some really competitive classes.
He's competitive. You wouldn't even know that because of his demeanor, but he is a great father, great athlete now, great husband, and just a hard worker. Like
Yeah.
I pride myself on working hard in the gym and
Yeah.
training and cardio and nutrition and diet. But
One thing that really stood out to me about him is how aware he was of his presence of his wife.
yeah.
Like, because he's backstage, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he always wanted to make sure, like, that she was taken care of,
Yes.
seated well, and like felt in place. And
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm like, man, you got a show to win, and you're really taking care of your woman. That's impressive.
Yeah. In such an unassuming way.
In such an
Yeah,
unassuming way,
yeah.
in a very authentic way where he made it
Mm,
look really easy. I'm starting to watch him as a
mm,
coach and say,
mm.
my wife comes to a lot of these,
All of
all
these.
of them. And I'm like, I probably step my game up a little bit more.
Mhm.
I watch stuff like that because, man, I'm a bodybuilder at heart. I'm a life builder. I want to be good at everything,
Be good at
So when
life.
I see that,
Right.
I'm like, dude, kudos to you
Yeah.
because you've got the body, you've got the training discipline,
Mm,
and you're a good husband on top of that.
mm-hmm.
That's super cool,
Right.
So that was really amazing. That kind of really easily leads me into Giancarlo.
Absolutely. GC3
I mean, he does everything,
energy.
right?
Yeah.
So paintball, snowboarding, bodybuilding,
YouTube first.
and YouTube.
YouTube first.
But I'll almost say they're all first in his life.
Uh,
Definitely a really awesome boyfriend on top of it.
mhm.
He's been with her since I've known him,
Yeah.
and always a really good boyfriend.
Yeah.
But yeah, placed first in his class,
Mhm.
came in second in the overall,
Ooh.
very close overall,
Yeah.
and drug free.
How
And
much weight did he gain in the off season?
we were up. I believe we were up 40 to 50 pounds. I'm trying to think where that highest peak was,
Mm-hmm.
but I think we were around 40.
40 to
We'll
50
just say
pounds.
45 to be there.
And it was some solid muscle under there, strength.
Yeah.
Mentally, you stayed engaged with him for what, about a year and a half? Because we started, was it 21? The
Yeah.
fourth quarter 2021?
We had really failed like bulking like when we first started.
Yeah.
So I knew this would be a challenge.
Yeah.
But when I saw his YouTube, it made sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I see why, because
Yeah.
your content
Yeah.
for what you've had success at, to change that,
Mm-hmm.
it's difficult.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was cool. He accepted that challenge. I think he had a lot of outside noise on when he got heavier, people saying you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And okay, just wait and we'll see
He's
what lines up with that.
Though. He's stubborn, and sometimes being stubborn is a good thing. This is a great case of when being stubborn is a good thing, because he has his mind set on something, and he's not going to let those noises and those distractions be obstacles to him.
Yeah.
And he looks at the end game. Yeah, but this is all leading to this. And he will sit down and he will stand there and he will tell you over and over again, this is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the cool thing about him. So he's stubborn in a good way.
Yeah, he really is. And I think something with that is you got to be in his campfire to break that stubbornness.
Yes.
And he does. He switches it off really well, like
Mhm.
with me or you.
Mm-hmm.
But he also will challenge you as well.
He will.
And I like that actually
Yeah.
too, because there were many times in the reverse where he questioned me, and I'd rather that than you just leave and go get what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And that really takes an athlete to do that, and to coach with somebody versus just coach somebody.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that was huge. Dude's got a back like I've really never seen. I honestly think Giancarlo has one of the most genetically and aesthetically pleasing backs
So
I've ever
gifted.
seen in my entire
So
life.
gifted.
From
Miami, Florida, by the way.
Yeah, from Miami, Florida, and just honestly, like, some of the Olympians have great backs, but you put some time into this kid, it's going to be insane.
Mhm.
And just with him being drug free, there's a whole lot of things we haven't tapped into that I don't even know if we're going to, because we've not had that conversation.
Right.
And I'll let him bring it up to me if he wants to, because we've made progress, and I'm happy with what we did this last year. If we just keep capitalizing on that every year, he's going to be where he needs to.
And he's so disciplined, and we do have a game plan for him, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
But he has his own things ahead of bodybuilding that he's working on, which I think is great. He's very inclusive, very knowledgeable, and he will challenge you. I love that, though.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, we're a lot older than he is, and still we have a lot of knowledge when it comes to certain things, but he
Yeah.
will still challenge you, and it forces you to make sure you're up on your game because that dude needs an answer
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. And he'll show
Typical.
up in
Yeah.
check-ins with bruises all over his body
Right.
from
Like, what
paintballs.
the
So
heck is this?
I'm
Yeah.
like, at least I know you don't have a major nutrient deficiency,
Mm,
like
mm,
it's funny to see that though.
yeah. Yeah. We had an exciting experience between prejudging and finals on Saturday. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so we had the photo shoot at the Cascades Palace. So we had the men and the women all in between a prejudging and finals. Sarah didn't get to make it. She was they did hold them in line and she was
Hmm.
feeling a little achy, and
Okay.
I was like, you know what, your health always comes first. She
Okay.
wasn't feeling great. Let's get a meal in you and get your feet up,
Hmm.
so she didn't end up making it, but everyone else did.
Hmm.
And I'm glad we rested. She needed it for the
She
overall,
needed for the
right? Yeah,
overall.
so
Yeah.
that always comes
I
first.
will
But
tell you, I was in charge of the guys, and we slayed. But we did have some help from some of the bikini competitors. Kind
yeah,
of kept the guys going and motivated them. And then your wife, Sarah,
yeah,
what was
she
her
held it
role in all
down.
that? Yeah.
She actually is taking the photos
Hmm.
somewhat, and then
Of the
just
female bikini.
of the
Yeah.
female bikini, and
Hmm.
then just honestly organizing, making sure people had towels or knew where to go, or
Hmm.
she's really mama bear in a way, where how she caters to everyone.
Everyone does not complain and will not accept help or assistance. Sometimes I take it personally. Like,
Yeah,
Sarah, do you want me to do this? Can I do that? Can I do? She has me to go home and turn on the waterfalls. I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to touch the waterfalls. It's pretty expensive. And if I
don't like
screw it up,
touching
she's
them
like,
either.
I hate to ask you to this. I'm like, no, you can ask me. I just don't want to do it because I don't want to screw anything up.
Yeah,
But yeah, she walked me through turning on the waterfall. So that was kind of my contribution to the
to helping.
Cascades Palace this past weekend.
That's
So
cool.
and I watched the dogs, so they didn't escape. One of them did have a couple of
A
treats.
feast, yeah.
Yeah.
Rasta,
Oh,
the
so
rice cake
whose rice
feast.
cakes were those? Let's talk about that
I
person.
think that they had to have been, I think Celeste, right? I think it
Celeste.
had to be Celeste rice cakes.
Celeste must have left her door open or a
So
cabinet open or refrigerator door
this
open.
is like
So
client 12, and it's individually been
yeah.
Rasta
Yeah.
every
Time.
time
Yeah.
that gets them. And, if you just meet this dog, his personality, he's driven by affection and food, but
Yeah.
food first.
His stomach is his god. But let's talk about Celeste real quick. She's our little treat. She is something else. Celeste Reigns Turk. She is the host of Confessions of a Bikini Pro, amongst other things. But let's talk about your Celeste, your relationship with Celeste, your previous
Yeah.
relationship with her, and some of the other things that you guys are doing together.
Yeah, God, I'll probably cry. Like Celeste is, gosh, she really, when she
There's a
joined,
penny for your tears.
I know, right? I'll take it. She honestly brings a lot to the table
Hmm.
in terms of knowledge, psychology,
Hmm.
emotion.
Yes.
I enjoy, you know, you either kind of enjoy emotion or not. Some people kind of, but I do embrace it. I'm only going to be here so long. I feel Celeste has been brought into my life. For more than just bodybuilding, for just overall impact and
Hmm.
what her vision is, and it really aligns with my vision. Um, the cool thing is Celeste probably doesn't get a lot of referrals from me in terms of a lot of my people don't need mentally fixed post
Hmm.
show, but
Hmm.
if they do, she's there.
Hmm.
And that's amazing. But we really have a great vision. We do tend to get a decent amount of referrals from her because we just have a more gentle approach and emotional approach to this,
Hmm.
on understanding people and what they do. And me and Celeste understand each other. And I say it time and time again, if I could get people to communicate like
Yes.
Celeste does,
Hmm.
it would that is exactly who I would want my people to go through. Like,
Okay.
she's just such a great communicator, and really good, not only just athlete but friend.
Hmm.
She's that client where I might actually come to her
Hmm.
for coaching
Hmm.
with just something, whether it be a situation or advice, and just like to pick these beautiful minds of my clients that
Hmm.
we occasionally get that come through, and Celeste is definitely one of them.
I like Celeste because she does not run from conflict.
She won't run from
She will
conflict.
not. She will approach it, address it, let you know how she feels,
Yeah,
and give you an opportunity, a platform, a stage for you to let her know how you feel, and then
absolutely.
come to a resolution. Sometimes it's immediate. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time, a couple of hours, a couple of
Yeah,
days. Um, but there's always a resolution with her. And
yeah.
so you did mention what she does. What exactly is the name of her business? What does she do for people
Yeah,
and why?
so she does more than just a body, that's her hashtag, but
Mm-hmm.
she helps women who have like food disorders or issues with food,
Mm-hmm.
whether it even be post contests or not. And
Mm-hmm.
she's really built a wonderful platform and community. I know a lot of other coaches bring her in for guest speaking.
Yes.
She's written a book. She's
Mm-hmm.
like a what, number one author
She was a
within her
New York
category.
Times bestseller. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably go on and on,
Mm-hmm.
and
And she's 26,
yeah,
maybe
I guess
younger.
this is just a good example on I don't base my relationships on like what people have achieved, because I know there's so much more, but just like who
Mm-hmm.
they are
Right.
as a person stands out so
Mm-hmm.
much more.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So her name is Celestial Fit on Instagram. So guys, please look her up. Awesome,
and she
awesome.
just had her I think 1 millionth
1
download.
million. Yeah. Well,
So
actually, she didn't just have it. She had it at some point. I think in
February
this.
maybe or
No, her party was in
last year.
February. It was the summer of last year, I believe.
Okay.
Late summer, early autumn, I
You know
believe.
what? It was a North Americans time, I think. It was like
Okay.
right around there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was 20, but she had the party to celebrate that earlier this year.
that's
So
right.
not sure what it is, but she's got some major projects that she's working on now. That's very exciting. So I'm
Yeah.
sure she'll be making that announcement soon.
It's always
Um,
good to highlight, outside of bodybuilding, what
mm,
these people are doing. There's so much.
right. Last but not least, because we are short on time here, let's talk about our European friend from Lithuania
Yeah,
who's in
so
town.
we have Laura here,
Hmm.
and she's just going to be, already is a really stellar athlete.
Hmm.
Aside from just coaching her, it comes down to management. There's so many opportunities for this athlete, beyond just bodybuilding too.
Hmm.
And this is where we really want to step in, is not only her bodybuilding journey, but her life journey.
Absolutely.
This girl's going to be unstoppable on stage. We
Hmm.
already got that figured out,
Hmm.
but how do we make you the most successful just outside of that?
Outside, right.
She came to me for some lab work help back in May, and we've been in contact ever since. And I think it became November, December, we decided to officially start working together.
Okay.
And we just finalized some plans for a season, and it gives me chills. I'm really excited about it.
Hmm.
The relationship with her and I is very cohesive and dynamic. She's an excellent communicator. She kind of already harvests those capabilities that Celeste does.
Hmm.
And with a physique like that already, and then you're able to communicate how you're feeling and what's happening to your body,
Hmm.
it's all there.
Hmm.
It's really all there.
Yeah.
So we're really excited to have her, with you also managing her and
Hmm.
her decisions on who she aligns with in terms of sponsorships and stuff like that.
Hmm.
We're really trying to do what's best for this person
Hmm.
collectively.
Absolutely. She's the poster child for bodybuilding beyond borders. Very disciplined when it comes to her training, her knowledge. Very knowledgeable. Communications there. Nutrition, all of that stuff. She pretty much did it on her own all those years, and now
Yeah,
she can kind of sit back, kick her feet up, which she won't.
she
Um,
won't.
but she keeps motivating other people and challenging other people to be bigger, better, and take advantage of everything that you possibly can, and help and support people. So I'm very, very proud of her. Her mom did come to visit from Lithuania as
Yeah.
well, so they've been here about 2.5 weeks. They head home shortly, and we'll be having her back soon, sooner than later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really proud of her for facing all of the fears that she has in the past couple weeks. This is a very different experience for her,
Hmm.
and it's required definitely a different type of coaching.
Yes.
Beyond macros, cardio, this is like re-earthing yourself somewhere else.
This, my friend, is real coaching.
Yeah, this is real
It's not
coaching.
science. It's not bro. It's not macros. This is real
Yeah.
coaching.
And this is, once you have the macros and stuff figured out and that, and you can stick to it,
Hmm.
it really comes down to let us get engaged on some other stuff.
Absolutely.
This
Hmm.
isn't special treatment. She's gotten herself to a level by being self sufficient in
Absolutely.
other areas. We can focus on these things.
Hmm.
If you
Hmm.
don't have those foundations before, we don't even know if you're coachable to get to that point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, it's not favoritism. It's just, you all have the potential to reach that next level of coaching by passing the first levels.
Look, I mean, she would travel. Her commute is, when she's in Lithuania, 2 hours every morning by bus and by train to the gym.
Yeah.
Work out for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, does her posing, all of that stuff. 2 hours home.
Yeah. And the best way I
That.
can explain that is, when I was a kid, we played Mario and we could warp zone to 9, but we weren't ready for 9, so we still had to skip the warp zone and go through levels 6 and 7 and 8
Mm,
and then get stuck on 7 a couple times again, and then
mm,
you could warp zone to 9 because you
mm.
were ready for
Right.
it.
Yeah.
So that's a really good example of
Mm,
just growth as an athlete, and
mm,
things are happening very fast for her, and that's not always fair, but this is why you have to encompass everything and
mm.
figure yourself out as you go through this process,
You stay ready. You ain't gotta get ready.
right?
So she's ready. Yeah.
She's very ready.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Well, I appreciate your time today. We're gonna do it again soon.
Absolutely.
All right, my man.
Let's do it.
All
We'll
right.
get some more chips next week.
Get some more chips. So we need some more chips. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We will see you guys soon.